In a dramatic development on Tuesday, October 22, Speaker of Parliament Alban Bagbin indefinitely adjourned proceedings, citing unresolved issues regarding the composition of Parliament. This decision marks a significant escalation in the ongoing tension between the National Democratic Congress, the NDC, and the NPP, that's the New Patriotic Party, both of whom are locked in a heated dispute over which party controls majority in the House. And you can go and check out the rest of the article on ChannelOneNews.com. Larat, I'm going to start with you. With Parliament adjourning indefinitely, what do you think is the immediate implications on, the key legislative matters that, this whole thing was all about?
Good morning, Chris.
Good morning.
Good morning to Prof. Prof, it's been a while. And good morning to our viewers. I mean, this issue of Parliament being adjourned indefinitely, I mean, is not something that we are all, the consequences are not something that anyone is oblivious to because of the critical role that Parliament, the legislature, plays in our governance system. I mean, anyone who's done the basic social studies will know that there are three arms of government. I mean, in our current dispensation, the media becomes the fourth estate, but there are three arms of government: executive, legislature, judiciary. So if you have one arm of government, which is key and passes our laws, make sure that people are paid, make sure that health workers get money to work, teachers get money to work, salaries are paid, we need to be worried. We need to be worried and need to be able to reach out to our compatriots on the NDC side to know that it's not about just sitting on seats. It's not about claiming to be majority. It's not about saying we are passionate about the development of the country and do some of these things. Look, let's be very open and clear about this. I have maintained that the NDC thinks about elections more than the next generation. And now it's obvious. If they really meant well, are these the kind of statements you make on a campaign platform? That when you resume on Tuesday, you're going to move a petition. When there are key things, that are on the table. Even if we want to avoid all those bills and other things, what about the appropriation for 2025? Budget has to be ready in November. But by virtue of the fact that we are in an election year and there'll be a new government come 2025, at least the first 3 months before the new government, which definitely and obviously from the response of Ghanaians and from the response of electorates is going to be, inshallah, the Dr. Baumia-led administration. At least for the first 3 months, teachers have to be paid, nurses have to be paid, doctors have to be paid, children must go to school and have all the necessary things that they have to be fed and all those things. If the NDC means well, is this the time to cause such confusion?
Why do you think
is it the time?
Why do you think they intentionally decided to cause the confusion?
No, but they are seeing defeats.
They ask questions.
Listen. When the NDC is in opposition, and these are bare facts, they go after every state institution. No state institution. Look at what they did to the EC over how many months. They didn't succeed with the EC. Their defeat is staring them in the face. When they win a case at any of our courts, the judiciary is fantastic. When they lose, the judiciary has been packed by MPP judges and all that. But when they win a case, recently the Atoforcing case, the judiciary was fantastic. But let them lose any other thing. That is the modus operandi of the NDC. So now they failed with the EC. They don't care about Ghanaians. It's about the elections. It's about, for them, it's just about sitting on one side of parliament. It's not about the business in parliament. It's about sitting on one side. And just even imagine yesterday, if the MPP side had decided to behave and not take the high ground and not prioritize the peace of this country and not prioritize the peace of Ghanaians, you'd have seen what would have happened in parliament.
Yeah, so coming to that, you said the NDC was actually more concerned about where they would sit and all that.
What have they been saying?
Yeah, so if you think they are more concerned about where they will sit and your party was not concerned about where they will sit, I think you should have also been
It's not
in
a matter
Parliament.
of, no, look, Chris, let's put the issues in perspective. It's not a matter where there's been a clear decision that, look, by virtue of what is happening, you are minority, you are majority. I don't think when the speaker was making his declaration, he declared any group minority or majority. If you heard that, let me know. No. They assumed by virtue of the fact that speaker said he's declared they are majority. There was no declaration. Remember at the beginning of this particular parliament, it had to take speaker to come and say, this is the majority side and this is the minority side because of some of this confusion. 275. But we're not 37, 137, yeah, 137. Exactly. The Independent said, I'm doing business with her. And this is not the first time. You remember when the CPP seat, was it Samia Nkrumah? When she had a Cynthia Morrison, she decided to sit in the middle. She wasn't ready to do business with any side. She wasn't ready to do business with the NDC. She wasn't ready to do business with the MPP. She sat where she wanted, but she definitely contributed to it. But the Independent said, I'm going to do business with the MPP. 138, 137. I mean, it's not a clear majority, but there's a majority. All right. So that is why I say that for them, it's about where you sit, and you know, that is what they do. And sometimes I feel really sad for NDC supporters. It's
so
like
do you think walking away
they
was
are
the
always
best choice
setting them up for
MPP
emotional issues. Like, we've tried the EC, it didn't work. Look at how the EC exposed them from time to time. So now it's like, let's cause commotion. Let's bring government to a halt. I'm assuming what? That's it.
You're assuming.
No, that's it. I mean, let's not even, I'm not a lawyer, so I don't even want to go into all the legal things. But the basic thing, what is the main role of the Supreme Court? Right. The Supreme Court is supposed to interpret our laws. They are the custodians of the Constitution, the supreme laws of this country. Even in our basic associations, we have our constitutions. But one of the things that is stated in the Constitution is not supreme to the Constitution of the state. Right. So once you are having your thing, has anybody ever gone and said, oh, the order paper of Parliament, the standing order of Parliament, when they are implementing them, Supreme Court has to interpret. But the moment you make reference to the Constitution, who has to interpret it when there is a confusion about what it means? It's the Supreme Court. So the Speaker has made a statement, made a declaration, referencing the Constitution. Our side think that the interpretation he gave it was wrong. Who has to be the arbiter? It's the Supreme Court.
Yeah, and the Supreme Court actually
and the Supreme Court has said, stay it.
Yeah.
So how do you go into Parliament and say that a declaration that has been stayed, you go and sit and you think that we should come and pamper you and do it? Sit there. It's the chance you want. All and look at what they were doing, what they were even doing in there.
Prof, let's hear from you. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, good morning.
Good morning.
You and my good friend, and also good morning to our cherished viewers. The question is, why are we where we are today? It's as a result of the fact that we have 4 MPs who have cross-carpeted. In Ghana, our constitution kind of help guide us how we behave, how we carry ourselves as a people, and also the 3 arms of government. The Constitution has stated clearly under what condition would one vacate his or her seat in Parliament. And we all know, I just want to read it again for viewers. Article 97 G and H, clause 1G and H. It says a member of parliament shall vacate his seat in parliament. G says if he leaves the party of which he was a member at the time of his election to parliament to join another party or seek to remain in parliament as an independent member, or if he was elected a member of parliament as an independent candidate and join a political party. This is so clear. It is so clear. And I'm just wondering why Apenyo Makin should run to court to even seek interpretation of this. I mean, you do not need to go to law school to understand this. It is clear that you vacate your seat if you cross carpet. And these 4 MPs have crossed carpets. It is clear. Look, the NPP's own constitution says that a member of the party shall, no, sorry, I think I'm reading the wrong. Yes, that's a member of party who stands as an independent candidate against the officially elected member of the party, or who joins or declares his or her support to another political party or an independent candidate when the party has sponsored a candidate in a general or by-election, automatically forfeit his or her membership of the party. This is so clear.
So it's not just in the constitution, but it's also in the MPP's constitution.
Yes, the word is automatically. So you do not need anybody to tell you that you have lost your membership. So once you have declared your support for either another party or an independent candidate, or you yourself, you stand against the party-sponsored candidate. So in this case, someone like Cynthia Morrison, is she campaigning for the sponsored candidate of the MP?
Or herself, yeah.
Or herself. If Nana Dodankwa Akufo-Addo goes to Cynthia Morrison's constituency today, would he be campaigning for Cynthia Morrison, or he will be campaigning for the party-sponsored member, candidate? So it appears the MPP are themselves running away from their own constitution. You see, they are preaching peace when it's convenient to them. Before you register with EC as a political party, one of the requirements is that you should have a constitution. And the constitution should be in line with the 1992 constitution. So every political party has a constitution. And the MPP's constitution says that once you declare yourself as an independent candidate, you automatically, you have forfeited your membership. So if today, these 4 MPs have cross-carpeted, it is just fair. Just as Michael Quinn rule for the Fomina MP, the same rule applies to them. So I don't know why they are going in town crying. It's like a child who, you are playing ball with a child, and when you score the child, the child takes the ball and start crying to the mother. That is the kind of, behavior they are doing. Why would Apenyo Markins run to Supreme Court? Because it's conveniencing that the Supreme Court should come and interpret the law. It is so clear. It is so clear that this time around, it goes against them, you see. And I'm so surprised at their behavior yesterday by walking out of Parliament. So the issue is, you have walked out. Who loses? Or who is the biggest loser here?
Yeah.
You see, in politics, negotiation and discussion is important. Sometimes you have to, come down from the high horse and because you want something, you have to come down to the level of the person and try to jaw and agree on something. But when you have so much ego, as is being exhibited, with some attack of journalists and things, it wouldn't help. And in this case, it didn't help them. Now they are going around trying to collect signatures in order to compel the speaker to reconvene or a recall of parliament. But you see, again, this step is going against them.
Why do you say
Yes,
that?
because if at the end of the day, they are spending some number of days, to collect the signature, yes, the speaker will be compelled. When the speaker is compelled to call parliament, it takes 14 days for the speaker or for parliament to be called. But in a nutshell, they have 3 weeks, which is 21 days. For the tenure of this parliament to end, because parliament will have ended sitting in the next 3 weeks. So if you are spending, let's say, 1 week to try, this week to try to get the required signatures to compel speaker to call parliament, the speaker may use 14 days per the constitution for parliament to resit. Then you are left with how many days? So for me, Avenue Markins should not go to town, as I said, like a child that you are playing ball with and you are scoring the child,
So
the child grab the ball and start. I feel that he should just eat the humble pie. Just as how they were so excited, when the former MP was asked to vacate his seat because he wanted to go and contest as independent candidate. They should eat that humble pie and sit as minority. It is clear, look, and they keep saying that NDC thinks that they can become majority in parliament. They should go to the poll to become majority. And they ask the people who are saying that they themselves are the majority. The seats that MPP had was 137. NDC had 137. So there was no clear majority. So you do not sit and say that, oh, why are you fighting to become majority? Go to the poll or polling station and become majority.
Yeah.
It is neither here nor there. It's just the independent candidate that have decided to do business with you. But now he has cross-carpeted because he has gone to file with the EC as what? A parliamentary candidate for MPP. So he's cross-carpeted. So for me, I just think that MPP should relax. They should eat the humble pie, go and sit as minority in parliament. And this is actually unprecedented.
Okay. Right.
This is a big-time history because a governing party now sitting in parliament as minority. And this just tells you what happened in 2020
It's
election.
not about Ghana. It's not the development of this nation.
No, but
she's talking.
You keep saying
Chris,
it's all about Ghana, but if
Chris,
it was all about Ghana, I think
Chris,
you would have followed your own law.
Chris. In 2012, Honorable Tanya Ono filed to contest independence. The Speaker Duajahu declared his seat vacant. That's also a precedent. The reference they make to Speaker Okwe's decision, it was the party that wrote to Parliament that the Member of Parliament for Fomena is no longer part. So that's also a precedent. But let's go into the Article 97(1) that Prof. Read out, and where we seek the interpretation.
Okay.
Would have been years in this country where people have gone into Parliament on majority side and closed from Parliament in majority side. What is fundamentally cross-carpeting is moving from one side of the chamber to the other side of the chamber. Is that what has happened? So how do you juxtapose someone moving from one side of the chamber to another side of the chamber against someone who says, I'm still in this parliament in my original position or my original party? In the 9th parliament, intentions. In the 9th parliament, I want to do business as an independent, or I want to do business with a particular party. How do we juxtapose that? That is where the Supreme Court comes in. Because if you are using cross-carpeting, what is it fundamentally? Which, I mean, to put it in a literal sense, which carpet have these 4 people crossed?
Okay,
let's use
the issue of Cynthia Morrison right now.
Cynthia Morrison.
Cynthia Morrison obviously wants to run as an independent candidate right now. So with that now, is the MPP going to be backing her up with her campaign, or you are backing up who you chose?
You see, that is where we are missing it. Cynthia Morrison is the MPP candidate who won the Agona East or what? Election for 2020. Her tenure is 2020 to 2021. January 7, 2021 to January 7th or mid-9th of January 6th, 2025.
All right.
Yesterday, when she was even interviewed, and they asked her, have you left your party? She said no. She said no.
So she has
so
one
now
leg in, one leg
she
out.
sits in it. But
how,
definitely,
is that how we
all these
describe it?
MPs, all these 275 MPs, there's not going to be a second part of the 8th Parliament.
But does
we
that
are
make
going
her
into a clearly new Parliament.
Does that make her an
and
MPP?
There'll be new people who will come in.
Does that make her a loyal MPP member?
Come again.
Does that make her loyal?
You're introducing loyalty here.
Well, I don't know, it's a party, so we're all supposed to be together.
Yes.
We are one.
We are all supposed to be together, but just as any human institution, you have every kind of character in there. So those ones are subject to morality and those things. You get it? So let's have Supreme Court interpret it for us, because there are different versions of it. Even if you've been listening, even the legal brains, top legal brains in this country are even divided on this. And who best to put this to rest, if not the Supreme Court? So that is why we are saying that until that decision is declared, nobody can go and sit on another person's side. You get it? So because we didn't go and sit at the other side, we'll go through the rule of law to make sure that the right thing is done. We are not going to be shouting, we are not going to be marching and all that. But like I said, look, we have done so much, irrespective of the challenges, economic challenges we are facing. We want to come back and start continue the STEM schools. We want to come back and continue the factory. We want to come back and sustain our economy. We want to come back and keep this economy on a growth path. We want to make sure that public service workers are still working and being paid. Right. Because we even did that during. So there's so much we've done in this country that has to be sustained. But I don't think that is where the NDC is.
But do you foresee any cooperation between the two parties when it comes to expediting this key issue?
Expediting it. In the interest of this country, I think the NDC must leave this issue to the Supreme Court too. Okay. This attitude of we are going to say, is it about the chairs and the side of the chamber, or is it about what Parliament is supposed to fulfill for the people of this country? The moment you are elected as a member of Parliament, you become a member of Parliament. And this, as we sit at ChannelOne TV, ChannelOne TV falls under Okaikwe Central, right? The MP, Honorable Patrick Boama, is not. He came on the ticket of MPP, but he represents the people of Okaikwe Central, whether you voted for him or not. And that is what, and you see do you know what saddens me in all this? With all these legal issues, with all this jumping around, with all this marching and singing revolution and all that by the NDC, what saddens me is that you have majority of NDC MPs coming from the most deprived parts of this country. So if you sit there with all the deprivation in your constituencies, and you sit there and all that you're interested in is a side of parliamentary, it's up to their constituents and the people of Ghana and them.
Well, on that note, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, I will let Prof actually share her own thoughts on what I just asked, and then we'll get into the next topic. We'll be back. No discourse. So before we went on a break, Laratu gave her submission, and I think, Prof, actually has something to say about that. But Prof, while you're saying that, I just also want to ask you, before we get into the next topic, do you think or foresee any cooperation between the NDC and the MPP when it comes to expediting this key issue?
Well, you see, the MPP seems to lack principle. They have no principle. In 2020, it was good when the Formina MP was declared, or his seat was declared as vacant, and they had to, go for a by-election. In 2024, it's bad. And Lorato was saying that these MPs, that's the 4 MPs, did not cross carpet as to walk into the other side of Parliament, and so they cannot be said to have cross carpeted. I was just asking myself whether in 2020 did the Formina MP cross carpet in Parliament as to physically walking across. Was that the case? Your own constitution says that you automatically forfeit your seat when
just cross carpet.
When you cross carpet, and these individuals have done that. So it shows that for them, they do politics of convenience. In 2020, because it was convenient for them, they were jubilating. Now it is not convenient for them, so the rule doesn't work. I think as a political party, it is important for them to have principle. But in this case, they lack principle. She again indicated that what would be so important about going to sit at a particular place in Parliament, and why should NDC be interested in going to sit at the majority side? If where you sit in Parliament does not matter, the MPP MP should equally go and sit at the minority side, because, I mean, constitutionally, they are the minority. They should just, come down from the high. They should just come down from the high horse and go and sit there. They are 135.
Prof, did you say constitutionally?
Yes, because our constitution says that.
There's a stay of execution on that declaration.
We are saying that the constitution says that if you cross carpet, you automatically forfeit your seat. And your own constitution have said that. Yes, I'm talking about the constitution.
You said constitutionally, we are the minority. When there's a stay of execution, the same constitution
the constitution is clear. You do not need to go to law school to know that if you declare your support for an independent candidate, or you declare yourself as an independent candidate, you have automatically forfeited your seat. It's clear in the constitution.
Which constitution?
Again, Lorato is indicating the fact that for the NPP, they are thinking about how to develop the country, and so they wouldn't want to cause mayhem. Why, if you know that you are the one to send government business to Parliament for sitting and for discussion, you think that it is good to walk out in Parliament because you do not want to sit in? It is not about the
to go and sit
where
we are supposed to sit, and we're supposed to come and fight.
And the constitution is clear. One does not need to go to Makola to understand this constitution. The constitution is in black and white, and everybody understands it. We do not need Supreme Court to interpret this constitution for us. Because in 2020, you did the same thing and you were happy.
No.
Were you not?
Chris,
you were happy in 2020.
You're asking me a question. Let me ask you just a quick question. Let me ask you.
Okay, so answer that. Were you happy? Were you happy in 2020?
That is where they lack principle.
2020 where?
That is where they lack. She's talking about they want
I don't know why,
bring about development. I don't know why
Prof is shifting away from 2012.
Years,
right?
Ghanaians can
I don't know why Prof is shifting from 2012.
Relax. When you were talking, I was quiet. Just relax.
1 minute.
I am saying that
1 minute.
For the past 8 years, Ghanaians can attest to it that we have been worse off today than we were in 2016. How much was the dollar in 2016? It was 3.8. Today we are talking about 16 cities plus. How much was our debt in 2016? We're talking about 120 billion. Today we are almost at 700 billion Ghana cedis. Today, how much is inflation? How much do you buy a ball of kenke if you go to buy kenke? You're talking about 7 Ghana cedis at some places and 5 Ghana cedis. In 2016, 1 city, you can get a ball of kinky. So how can you say that you are
Well,
talking
Prof,
about
we
development?
actually have some messages for you. Good morning. Please tell Ghanaian politicians to give us a break. We always see them only during elections. They clearly don't care about what is needful to we citizens. The Almighty God is watching them, and this is from Eric Dubois from Nima. And good morning to you and your panelists, Madam Laratu and Professor. The Parliament adjournment yesterday was a wise decision made by the Honorable Speaker, especially after he caused the situation by declaring those seats vacant. We should remind our MPs that their actions do not reflect well on the people they represent. So I guess it's the two parties. The behavior exhibited by the NDC side yesterday must be condemned with all humility. Let's consider this. If the MPP caucus has decided to occupy the same seats as the NDC, what would have happened? Exactly. And this is from Yasir, and he's actually from North Gonja, watching us from North Gonja.